Hello, everybody. All right. Today I just come to YouTube to talk to people about what Chinese President Xi Jinping said to African presidents. The Chinese president didn't mention on anything saying we want African people, we are not going to buy all of you, what people were saying, because some people are sending messages and the interpreter, what the interpreter write on the note saying the Chinese president said we cannot buy all of you at the same time, but we will buy you accordingly as first come first half. And then he said we are going to buy Zambia first and then follow with other countries, which is really wrong. The interpreter, maybe I don't know, maybe I don't know where he's from. I don't know where the interpreter comes from, but I'm gonna interpret what he said. He didn't say anything wrong about it because African presidents, they went to Beijing to meet Chinese president. After meeting the Chinese president, they had a meeting. On that meeting, he said, I will translate it for people to understand because I use my laptop. I write it on the laptop, so I have to translate it. What he said. He said, we will not interfere in African countries' exploration of development paths suited to their national conditions in Africa's internal affairs, imposed our will on the African people, or add political condition to Africa's aid. No longer invest in Africa for political gain. That's what he said. This is what the I translated because I what he was saying. I just use it and write it on my phone here so that I can translate it on my laptop, so that I can translate it back to people what he was saying in that short note that he was saying. But he didn't mean that they're gonna buy African people. How can Chinese people buy African people? How? Who? I don't know who sent those kind of messages, or I don't know who wrote that and that kind of things and sent it to the world, telling everybody that African presidents want to sell Africa to China. That's a blue lie. It's not true. You know, it's not true. What Chinese president says, this is what he said. We will not interfere in African countries' exploration of development path suited to their national condition in Africa's internal affairs imposed our will on the African people, or add political condition to Africa's aid, no longer invest in Africa for political gain. This is what he said. It's very easy. Even if you can look at here on my computer, maybe you people can see it on my computer here. You can see this is what he was saying. You know, this is what he said. So I just translated it, and just put it on my phone, my computer, to read it so that everybody will know what Chinese president said. The Chinese president will not say such kind of things because he's a diplomat, he's a president, so he won't say something like he's different from America's, Donald Trump, who is telling African people shit hole. It's different, Chinese president when the Chinese people are good. Also, today I want to talk about Africans, between Africans and Chinese people. Um, in fact, I am living in China. I live in China almost for quite a long time now, almost about 4 years. I live in China. and I have been here before. When I arrived here, the beginning was a little tough for me because there is some other parts of China where there's a lot of African people. We call it Guangzhou. That's the place where I learned before, and then stayed there for about 6 months, and then go to Beijing. From Beijing, 9 months in Beijing, and then come to this other small city here. Now I live in a small city, not a big city. It's just a small city. I live here about 3 years now. But you know, any country where you go, you know, they have their own they have their own rules and their own laws, what they you know that they impose on people. So I think if we travel to other people's country, we must follow their rules and their laws. Then we will live accordingly as how they want. And because I I found that you know most of the African people are saying Chinese are bad. They don't like African people. It's not true. It's not true. Of course, some Chinese people, they don't like African people. But even in America or in Europe, when you go there, not all the European people like African people or black people. Not all the American people like African people. No, not all of them. Some like them, but some hate them. Some hate African people, you know. And the problem is Chinese people, their country is a traditional country. It's different from other countries. Chinese are so traditional, you know. Their traditional is so strong, even to have a Chinese wife. We have some blacks who have a Chinese wives here, but it's really difficult for even a black to find a Chinese wife. You can have a girlfriend, but to marry them is a problem because Chinese people don't want to have a mixed race people from other countries to have, because they want their country to be only Chinese. That's true. That's true. That is just their life. That is their tradition. They want their country to be only Chinese people. Yes, people will come here and work, and then you know, but you can't have Chinese citizenship here. Even sometimes, even if you are foreigner, you have a baby here, that baby could not be a citizen in this country. It's different from America, where, or maybe in Europe, where if you have a baby, your baby is eligible to be a citizen in that country. But in China, it's different. Even a Chinese baby, a Chinese wife, and a black husband, when they had a baby here, that baby can't be real Chinese people. They have a kind of documents that you're going to provide for those kind of kids. But sometimes, like, or African people, when they have, or foreigners, even I not even Africans, but even a foreigners, when they have a baby here, their babies, when they grow old, they must look for a visa to live here. So it's different. It's quite different. So today, I just want to talk to you people about Chinese people and why Africans were saying Chinese are so bad. Some people are saying Chinese are racist. That's true. Africans, because the mentality that the Chinese people have for Africans, it's sometimes it's wrong. But if you see it, if you look at it carefully, you will find that it's not, because it's not their fault even. It's our fault. We the African people, it's our fault. Of course, I'm just gonna say it, and I will say it because if you go to some people's country, or if you are in your country in Africa, some another person come from other country, come to your country, do some such kind of things, bad things. Of course, you will not like those countries people. If Chinese people come to Africa, do so many bad things in Africa, you think Africans, we're gonna like them. We're not gonna like them. Yes, we're not gonna like them. So, you know, not all the African people in China do bad things, but sometimes, sometimes there are some people. Yes, sometimes there are some people. Not everybody. Some of them can do it. Some of them can do it. Can do some bad things. You know what the government don't like. You know doesn't match with the law. So I don't say Africans do it, but you know, I'm just saying if the country don't like something and then the people are doing it, you know, I know that it must happen. It must happen. There must be some black guys who will do some things that you know maybe they report because why black is so sensitive. Black is so sensitive in a way that um, if a black man do something wrong here, they will say it's an African. They will say there is one African. They will not say a guy from Gambia or a guy from Zimbabwe or a guy from Mali or a guy from Senegal or Nigeria do this. They won't say that. They don't. Chinese people don't. They don't call the countries. They call every black person. They call you African. But if a white man did something here wrong, if he's American, they will say American. Or if he's from Europe, but they will not say he's a European. They will say his country. They will say a guy from England do something wrong. But Europe, nobody will mention Europe. Nobody is gonna mention Europe. If a guy from America, North America or South America, if a guy from America, United States, they will say he's from United States. Or if a guy from Colombia, they will say he's from Colombia, one Colombian guy, or they will say one Brazilian guy, one guy from other countries do these kind of things. A guy from Asia, nobody will say he's from Asia. They will say a guy from Pakistan, a guy from China, a guy from Japan. But in Africa, the whole world, no matter if you're a black man, they don't say your country. They always say Africans. This is why Africans are so sensitive. It's true. Africans are so sensitive because um, if we do something wrong, you are from Nigeria, you are from Ghana, you are from the Gambia, you are from Mali, you are from South Africa, you are from Guinea Conakry, you are from Zimbabwe, you are from Zambia, you are from, you know, Algeria or anywhere in Africa. Nobody gonna say your country. They won't say it. They will say African people. Look, even the migrants, people who traveled from Africa to Europe, go to this down way, back way, to Mal, to Libya and then cross. Not only African people are crossing there, and in fact, even not all African countries are crossing there. But when they are giving news, they don't say the people from other, like, because we have some special countries who their people go more than the other countries. I don't say, but there are some part of African countries they don't use these back ways to go to Europe. A lot of countries, the people they don't even know, and they don't even bother themselves. It's true. We have some special countries, the specific countries who usually go to this back way. And even in Asia, we have some people from Asia use these back ways to go to Europe. But those people, when they go to Europe, they will not say people from Asia. They won't say it. They will call their countries people from here, you know. But for African people, they will say, African migrants. Yes, they will say African migrants. So that's, that thing, it's really, really, really sad. Sometimes if I think about it, I would say Africa in general, the name Africa in general is so sensitive, you know, and Africans, we have no respect in anywhere, not even China. People are just saying Chinese people don't like African people. I think Chinese people like African people. The matter is, before they know you, they will be a little scared of you because they think, because of the social media, that they are saying African people, they do this, they do that, they do that. African peoples, they're ill, they have AIDS, they have all these things in their mind, that all African people, they think all African people are the same. you know Sometimes they will take some videos from poor African countries, like maybe Central Africa or maybe some other part of Africa. Even in West Africa, we don't have those kind of people who will, they just live in a jungle. You can see them, those people, they don't even care, to take care of themselves. The people look like, they just look like bush people. Yes, Africans, we have some part of Africans people, Africa have this kind of people. But even if you go to South America, or even if you go to Asia here, there are some places they have those kind of people. Even if you go to Philippines, sometimes you will find it. So even if you go to, which place, Malaysia, you know Malaysia, and these other countries around here, when you go there, you will find people who are living in that way. Yes, but you can't find those things on social media. you know the only thing you can find on social media is to see African people, we African people, to see us in a bad way, because they always, oh my God, they always they always, you know go to Africa, bad places where people, you know where people always, I can't even find those kind of things in Africa, in West Africa. I don't know, maybe in other parts. We have some poor people in Africa, but I think, that kind of life, has been passed for many years, but I in still is existing in some part of Africa, some parts of Africa. So this is why African presidents, they have to help African people so much. They have to educate people, because all those things are because of lack of education. If anybody who is educated will not live in that way, living in a jungle, for the rest of your life, because they don't bring them schools, they don't even, motivate them, they don't teach them. People are not educated. They only been there, feeding themselves you know, from the bush meats, you know, like they live like ancient people. In China, before, people live in that way, but we can say now, 40 years, about 30 years ago, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, Chinese people, there was a big hunger in China here, where Chinese people, that's why Chinese people eat everything. Many years ago, Chinese people don't have food. We African people, we have food. During those days, Chinese people, they don't have food. But why? The government, they start to think what is good for the people. China is too big. Look how big China is. And within that period, only 30 years, they change until they are the number two now, the world second largest economy. in the world is China. And in 10 years, after 10 years, they're going to beat America. So look at how they do what they do, because what they fight for was they fought for their corruption, you know, because if you see African people still we are suffering, we don't have good education. It's because of the corruption. Whoever become a president want to take all the money and put it in the pocket, you know. So how can Africa be developed? If you are a minister, you have to take a lot of money from the government's account or people's money, because we can say it's not even governments but it's people's. Yes, we are the government, we the people, but those people, the the ministers, the presidents, they have no sympathy for our people. They have no sympathy. No sympathy. Whoever is given a post as a minister will be dancing, and then because yes, my things are now better. They don't even think about the salary, but they always think about if the government give them money for the development, what they're gonna have in that money. When the government give you as a minister, okay, you are minister of agriculture, you know, government give you $20 million is said, okay, this one is, this $20 million is have to be used for agriculture. That minister, the vice minister, the secretary, and the other people gonna share the half of the money, even maybe the three quarter of the money. When they give you 20 million, they're gonna spend 15 million on their self, and then 5 million be spent for agriculture. So sad, it's so sad. And because I remember many years ago, I remember, you know our home, there's a craft market in our home. you know that time Yajima was the president, and there was there you know they built a craft market beside there's a craft market beside the police station, right? The government gave them about 10 million to build a very good toilet, because that place is a tourist center. It's a tourist center. The government give them $10 million to build a very good toilet, because a lot of tourists are coming there during the tourist season. And then there is no good toilet. They give them 10 million to build that toilet. They give it to the area council, because it was the area council who is in control of that one. The area council, they spent the whole money. Do you know, 10 million, they built a toilet which is not even worth 10,000. 10,000. So, something like that, how can a place be developed? How can we Africans be developed? We can't be developed. But look at China. I don't say they don't have people corrupt, but their corrupt is it's different from our corrupt. If you are corrupt, you won't take all. When they give you 20 million, you take only 1 million, then 19 million you bill it. That's okay. It's fine. It's not so bad, because we know that there is no one perfect. There is no one perfect. We can't say that even America people are corrupt, but they knows how to do it. When the government gave them 20 million, of course they must build a very standard one that even nobody will knows that you put the whole money or you don't put the whole money. But when the government give you 20 million to build something, you only spend only 10,000 on that, or only 1 million, and the rest 20 million you you just take all. How can a place be developed? They only build us outdated things. Now in this world, we are out of that kind of life. We are out of that kind. Only Africa is behind. And even in Africa, the worst part of Africa is in the West Africa, where even there is no development in West Africa. If you go to Kenya or you go to Zimbabwe, no matter how the places are, there are places, when you go to some places, they have a lot of good development in those places. Good developments in those places. But what about West Africa, the West African countries? There is no good place in West Africa. Only the better place, maybe we can say Nigeria is a little better. And Ghana, Nigerian and Ghana, a little better. After that, there is no good place in West Africa. Maybe in the other part of Africans, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, Mozambique, when you go there, no matter how it is, when you arrive in their capital cities, you'll find yes, in fact, their capitals are developed. They are good. They're better. We, the West African people, we are so lag behind, so much, so lag behind. Our presidents supposed to think too much about this. Our leaders, yes, not even the president, because one president have so many things on their head, but the leaders in the country's leaders, they must try to cooperate. Cooperation. If there is no cooperation, there is no development, because we will all be fighting each other. Let one person be a president, because there could be no two presidents in a country. When there is one president in a country, let us support and then give them ideas. If they don't do good, we take them out. We find another person who can rule the country. As I always said, we are not here. Our country is not for only one tribe. Country is a country. Whoever the president is, that's what we should know. This is our president. We are not going to say Mandinkas have to be a president, or Jolas have to be a president, or Fulas have to be a president, or Manjagos. No. What for? We need somebody who will deliver good, not somebody who will gonna bring us big mouthy. As I'm a Mandinka, I have to support a Mandinka president. He's not doing good. I am not going in for that. I am looking for somebody who will make the country's development, because education is the key for betterment. That's what even the one musician said. This one, he said, education is the key for betterment. Yes, education is the key for betterment. So if we don't have education, how can even our president, apart from our first president, President Jawara, we still don't have any good president, because Yahya Jammeh was not educated. Adam Barrow is not educated. The education is too low. We don't need those people to rule our country. We need people who are educated, like Hussein Dabo, he's educated, yes. Khalifa Saleh, he's educated, yes. And some other like Sidia Jara also educated. You know, we need educated people. Whenever they go, they can deliver very well. We have to think about it. It's not because we have to say Adam Barrow is a Mandinka, he's supposed to be our president. Yahya Mesa Jola, he's supposed to be our president. You know, and Mama Kande is a Fula, he's supposed to be. No, we need some people, some educated people. Hussein Dabo, Khalifa Salah, and other people, other educated people could be our presidents. Adam Barrow, well, it's God who select him to be our president, so we can follow him, and then we will have some people who are behind him, could help him, you know, to motivate him. I think that's also not so bad. But next time when we have to choose presidents, let us choose educated presidents for our future, not for ourselves or for our because Adam Barrow is a Mandinka, or Adam Barrow is from my family, or or Mama Kande, or Ya Jamme, or Ahmad Ba, you know we need to look for some educate like Senegal. Look, Senegal. All the presidents in Senegal, they are all educated, and even most of the African countries, their presidents are educated. Most of them, I don't say all, but most of them, they are all educated. Look, Abdou Diouf was so educated. Abdoulaye Wade, educated. And this man, the last president, everybody is educated in Senegal. All the presidents were educated. So I think we need to support our education system. Our education system is so low. All right. Um, I'm not gonna talk too much now. I have to stop here. But the message that I said just earlier on, it's because they said the Chinese president said he's gonna buy African people. He's gonna buy Africa. He didn't say these words. He didn't say this. The translator doesn't translate it very well because he wants Africans and China to have a problem. That's what he wants. I don't know if it's a woman or man, but the person want Africans to stay away from Chinese people because he want to brainwash our mind. Um, it's not true, right? It's not true. The Chinese president said, "We will not interfere in African countries' exploration of development path suited to their national condition in Africa's internal affairs, impose our will on the African people, or add political condition to Africa's aid. No longer invest in Africa for political gain." That's what he said. So we have to keep this in our mind. He didn't say something wrong. We are going to buy African people. We begin with Zambia, and then that's wrong. It's lie. No, he didn't say that. Chinese president will not say that. People, we have to use our brain. Chinese president will not say that. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. And then I say goodbye to everybody. If you watch my program, you like my program, please don't forget to subscribe. I would like more subscribers. I'm a new YouTuber, but I love you all. Everybody, bye bye.